Right. Question two is reading Zambia's maize market is initially at equilibrium. Analysts forecast that one, a prolonged dry spell will significantly reduce maize harvests, supply shock, consumer incomes will rise as copper sector employment expands, demand shock, and maize is a normal good. So the first one, for each shock individually state the direction of the shift and the effect on the equilibrium price and quantity. Okay, so we're going to start with this supply shock here. All right, let's make our table here. We've got price, we've got quantity, demand curve downward sloping. I believe we all remember the law of demand, inverse relationship between price, holding other things. Inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded, holding other things constant. Okay, and then we have the supply curve here. Positive relationship between price and quantity supplied, holding other things constant. Okay, so where supply meets demand, that is the price. So let's say maybe in this case, we can put the price at 100 kwacha here. And let's say here we have quantity here, maybe let's say 1 million tons. Now, they've told us we're going to have a dry spell, meaning we're going to have a drought. So when there's a drought, it means maize cannot grow. So maize harvests are going to drop. So what happens? Our supply curve is going to shift to the left. Okay, as you can see here, supply curve shifts to the left. So this is our equilibrium point A, equilibrium here, A. All right, so when you have a new equilibrium point, which is B here, point B here, okay, because of the dry spell, so the output of maize is going to drop, meaning supply of maize is going to drop. Okay, so what happens is when the supply of maize drops, it means maize will become scarce, and when it's scarce, it means its price is going to have to rise. Okay, its price is going to have to rise. So say it might rise from 100 kwacha to 150 kwacha. Okay, and so price goes up, then the quantity supplied is going to drop from 1 million tons, let's say maybe to 500,000. Okay, quantity supplied is going to drop. All right. So as the question is asking, state the direction of the shift. So it's going to be a shift to the supply curve shifts to the left and effect on equilibrium price and quantity. Equilibrium price is going to increase, as we can see here, increase in equilibrium price from 100 kwacha to 150 kwacha. And also equilibrium quantity is going to drop from 1 million to 500,000 due to the supply shock. Any questions, colleagues, before we go to the next part? So we put here. Let me just put the graph here so that when I send these notes, you can see the graph for the supply shock. Okay, now we're going to go to the next, the demand shock, where it says income levels of people have increased and maize is a normal good. Colleagues, what is the definition of a normal good? This you must remember from first year in microeconomics. What is a normal good, colleagues? Eesh, we are in trouble. We are in trouble. These are the things you need to remember, especially here in managerial economics. Yes? Yes, go ahead. Yes. A normal good, you buy more of it when your income increases, okay? Like, for example, tea, bread, mealie meal, okay? If your income increases, you can buy more of these goods, all right? Then you've also got inferior goods. What is an inferior good? Buy more of it when income reduces, right? Yes, like cachasso, okay? Cachasso is an inferior good. When your income increases, you stop buying cachasso, you can now buy what's this castle, mosi, okay? But when your income drops, you're going to go back to the cachasso, the illicit beer, which is cheap, all right? So here, people's income has increased. Maize is a normal good, so it means they're purchasing more maize. So we'll come back to our graph here, supply and demand. Let's say maize is going at 100 kwacha, and also 1 million tons are demanded. Now people's income has increased. So what happens is, because remember, one of the shifters of the demand curve is income levels. So our demand curve shifts to the right, like this here. Okay, people are demanding more maize. All right, they're demanding more maize. So this puts pressure on now farmers to produce more maize. So now farmers can't just easily produce more maize as they want. All right. They might need to hire more workers. They might need to buy more land. All right. So in when they're hiring more workers or buy more land or buy more equipment so that they can harvest more maize, it means they'll have to increase the price of maize. Okay, because you want more and they have to produce more, the price of maize is also going to increase. Okay, so that more maize is produced to satisfy the market. Okay, so find due to the demand curve being shifted, at first quantity demanded was 1 million tons. Now, since demand has increased, people are willing to buy more maize. So it increases from 1 million tons to, let's say, here we'll put 1,500,000 tons. 1,500,000. So the demand curve shifts to the right, the equilibrium price increases, and the equilibrium quantity is also going to increase. 1,500,000. Yes, colleagues, any questions before we go to the next part? Okay. Equilibrium price goes up, equilibrium quantity also increases. All right. Yes. So now maize is going to be from 100, it's going to be now being charged at 150. Remember, these numbers which I've put in here are not part of the question. Okay, colleagues? I've just put numbers to illustrate. Instead of using P1 and P2, Q1, Q2, better we use numbers. Okay, so let me get the demand shock here. So then questions before we go to part three. Part two. Okay. When both shocks occur simultaneously, determine which variable price or quantity changes unambiguously and which one is ambiguous. Justify your answer using the simultaneous shifts summary rule. Right? So basically, this simultaneous shift summary rule is just when, so in this case here, we have a situation where supply reduces and the demand has increased. So when these two things occur at the same time, want to find out between price and quantity, which one gets affected, okay? Which one changes unambiguously and which one is unambiguous. So the one that will change unambiguously, we're going to see it if it's price or quantity, and the one which is ambiguous, the one which won't really change, okay? So basically you would draw a graph like this here. In here you have price, quantity, so you have the demand here, you have supply here. Okay. Equilibrium price, we're going to say here, okay, 100. Equilibrium quantity, let's say again here, 1 million. Okay. So here we have two things occurring. Okay. First thing, we have a supply shock. Okay. So supply shifts. Okay. We say the drought has hit. So supply shifts. Okay. Supply shifts from to the left. Then now this is our new equilibrium price. So we're going to put here 150. Right. Then demand also is going to shift. Remember, demand is also going to shift because thing income levels have also increased. So the demand curve also shifts. Okay. So let's say this will be okay. Demand shifts. Okay. So again, the price rises again to 200. Right. Quantity, as you can see, because it's since it's occurring at the same time, that's why I never put this new quantity here, then came back to the original quantity. As you can see, quantity stays the same, but price is the one that unambiguously changes. Okay, so you can say whenever you have an increase in demand and a decrease in supply. When these things occur simultaneously, decrease in supply. Price is the only thing that changes and quantity stays the same. Okay. Price changes. Okay. Quantity stays the same. Ambiguous. Okay. Theoretical. All right. Other times in real life, you can find one shock might be greater than the other shock. Okay. So you find maybe if the demand shock is greater than the supply shock, quantity can also change. Or if the supply shock is greater than the demand shock, also quantity can vary. Okay. But on a normal basis, when these two happen simultaneously, quantity will stay the same and price is the one that's cheap. Price is the one that's increased. Any questions? Yes, the quantity stayed the same as you can see here, 1 million. Supply changed, supply shifted, then demand shifted. Right? So the only thing that was changing was price, then quantity stayed fixed. So we said ambiguous for quantity, then unambiguous for price. Yes. So, colleagues, I would urge you also to practice with these graphs. Okay. Maybe you see a situation where maybe demand decreases, supply decreases. You see what happens. What happens to price? What happens to quantity? When both increase, what happens to price and quantity? That's how um, understanding this graph will help you answer such type of questions. Okay. Mhm. Okay. So a Zambian transport firm is a major buyer of maize. Usually, using the results above, provide one specific managerial recommendation for the firm's procurement strategy. So basically, colleagues, this is what they're asking. If you know that demand is going to increase for maize and supply is also going to reduce for maize, what do you have to do as a company? So one thing this company can do, okay, yes. Oh, before I give my answers, yes, colleagues, what would you do if you were the manager of this company? We start with you, Madam Angelina. You know that in the future, demand is going to increase for maize and supply is also going to drop. What would you advise your business as a manager who has taken economics? Mhm. Yes. Anybody else? Wonderful, Madam Angelina. So yes, as Madam Angelina has said, stock up, buy enough stock of maize so that when the demand, you have enough maize to satisfy the demand, and when the supply drops, at least you still have maize which you need to sell. Okay, which you can sell. Okay. You do not want to disrupt your supply chain. Okay, you want as this firm, you want the supply of maize to be as fluid as possible. Yes, anybody else? Yes. So here, the transfer firm should buy maize early. Okay, stock up. We want to talk about stocking up, or sign a fixed price agreement with the maize suppliers. So if you make this fixed agreement, it's saying that okay, we're going to buy maize from you at this price. So even though the price changes, we're still going to buy from you at the same price. Okay, if that is possible, you can do that. Okay, so stocking up or making fixed price agreement with maize suppliers. All right, so that it avoids you for paying higher prices for maize in the future. Okay, and also you want to satisfy the demand when it increases. Yes.